So MP4 and movie files, QuickTime, are video file types, but they work in very differently. MP4 is optimized for compression and streaming. Movie is made for editing, achieving with full quality frames, which the core difference is that they do not share the same kind of codec, and they do have a different performance that they refer. So let's see what they're going with. The average MP4 size, like 8 minutes, is at 1080, is oftenly 150 megabytes to 500 megabytes, depending on how complex the motion is. It's small because it compresses the visual data intelligently, and the codec that MP4 uses is H.264, also called AVC, a super efficient compression format that shrinks the file size without losing much quality. The MP4 uses it doesn't store the image in full frames like movie does, but it does see the video as a script of instructions. It breaks the image to multiple blocks as 16x16 pixel titles, and restores those blocks when nothing changes. It's a zip file, kind of, that only saves what's moved or changed. Even though the file is not a zip file, what it's doing is that if the shape's polygons or the color is the same, and they all refer the same shape, and it sees it in per frame, that will not add an asset. But if the frame or anything is different, and the polygon is not the same, that will add it and cause more file size. Other than that, it's going to leave that, and it's going to keep the file size low, which is what it's called a binary asset. Even though you cannot extract that, they all from a binary codec file. The pattern that MP4 is using to shrink the video is that the full image is called a 1 iframe. The next frames only stores differences called P frames or B frames. The motion vector shows what's moving, so instead of storing 100 pixels in stores, it does 1 full pixels and 99 title updates and little updates. That's the genius move of MP4, what it's actually doing, and moving QuickTime does not do it this way. Movie doesn't do any of that because the small motion prediction, what movie formats are, is Apple ProRes. They are really compatible of storing every frame and single frame as a full image. They also have black frames for every frame number it counts due to the screenshots DOM. They save frame fully whenever anything is changed or not. So 1080 takes 5 megabytes and you have 60 frames. Yield quickly of gigabytes of the storage, and you're hitting that for a lot. The movie files are very large because they have no block refill, and the motions and vectors and predicted compression doesn't go that way. The movie files fills everything whatever with the images, and they use raw high quality frames, even if they're the same and over. The black screens from the DRM, digital rights management, in movies. You sometimes see the movie with black blocks will have full frames and black frames inside and that's what it's for, and that's what it's really recommend for video distributors to have. They want movie files because they have really good black frames filled in, which is another thing that's why it's really large. And yes, it gets to store as real data too. Movie doesn't skip anything. MP4 is more talented in asset recognition from quiet use. MP4 is smarter because it recognizes what it says the same, the colors, patterns, shapes, and motion, and that stores that in WUPs. The other things about movie files in MP4 is that MP4 does do it like coding way, like it does it like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But even though they do not use that, it's kind of like their creation in their binary mode or their unsupported text format. The movie files is what it's doing. It's formatting everything and it's getting every image. Captures every images and makes it high quality. Which is the reason why an 8-minute video for a movie file like that one depends on the complex. An 8-minute video that's cartoonish, it's like 4.7 gigabytes. An 8-minute video with high quality and lots of real footage shows 17 gigabytes because it's actually part of the whole thing. Now let's talk about the audio. MP4 audio and AAC 128 kbps is nearly 1 megabyte per minute. So movie PCM uncompressed is nearly 10 megabytes per minute. So an 8-minute video, the MP4 audio is about 8 megabytes. The movie files can take up to 80 or more. And what does it mean for the movie audio's larger? If the movie audio's files audio is bigger, it's part of using an uncompressed sound, using high quality sound, and mostly using stereo and mono. Well, you can use one of them, but it has to be a very good one. It sometimes uses fake 3D effects. Fake 3D effects. That's right. You need to use a studio grade audio, or unless if you use a studio grade audio, that can shrink to a file drastically by converting an AAC to MP3, or style compression without barely any sound quality loss. Just remember that they are larger and they're best for professional use. If you're gonna use MP4, then use that for streaming, and I don't know what OGV does. Okay, so that's all in today's video, why MP4 videos are more shorter, even though it's 20 minutes, while the movie files are much larger. You see, the MP4 is a special codec. Now, for movie files, they use full frames. I hope this video inspires your education. Alright, goodbye!